much stuff, y'all. It's just, we have an impoverished language around body, mind, and spirit. And for sure, you throw in sexuality in there and we freak. And that's part of it, is because we're not comfortable with our bodies, right? So helping our people as pastors, I use the word pastors. Y'all call yourself pastors? Yeah. Okay, because some of you have introduced me as associate pastors, and some have, what are your other titles? Director of music. Minister. Oh, right. That's the, okay. So as ministers, pastors, directors of music, I think one of our biggest callings is to help people locate who they are in their body. That the more you do that, they get to know more of who they are as a soul. And that may just sound so strange, but trust me when I say, the more I have worked in becoming more embodied, the more I have gained wisdom of my spirit. So that's the invitation, that we're really going deeper into our bodies, getting deeper into our spirit. So I've given you a couple handouts, and the one today I started with, it says Polyphony Presentation, Embodied Spirituality, and we covered that, and on the back you'll see that link for drumming, a couple things you can watch. And then we're actually on number 4, Embodied Spiritual Practices. So I think everybody has a piece of chocolate. Does anybody want one that doesn't have one? Okay, so what I want us to do is, like I said so many times, and I think this goes to why so many of us, of course we have a pandemic of overeating and diabetes and the list goes on, is because we eat and we don't even know when we're full. And if we slow down our pace of eating, if we actually tasted our food, I think it would enrich our experience and help us, again, as I said, be mindful and thankful. Thankful. It enriches us spiritually. So I would like us to go ahead and open up the piece of chocolate. And what I want you to do is when you put it in your mouth here in a second, I want you to see if, ideally I would have paid a lot of money and bought truffles that are multi-layered from Godiva or some other chocolatier. But sorry, my budget wasn't big enough for that. So you get an Andes mint that, see if you can taste the chocolate and then the mint. So go ahead and put it in your mouth and just slowly let it dissolve. Slowly taste and see that it is good. And notice what you taste. Notice what it's like to slow down and taste it, smell it, feel it in your mouth and over your tongue. And swallow it when you're ready. One thing that's so important about mindfulness, even with eating, I have an 8-year-old son, and he is prone to choking. And so one of the things we've had to learn, among other things, he has a speech disorder, so we've learned to be so much more mindful about eating practices and slowing down. So there's so many benefits to slowing down when we eat. What did you taste? What are some adjectives? Sweet, chocolate, creamy, minty, coolness. Good. I love this first embodied practice of savoring and being present. You've probably read so many books on the important, or heard so many pastors preach on being present. That is probably the ultimate message of embodiment. We can only be, our body can only be in the present moment. How do we attune to the present moment? Well, We tune into the body. Get in touch with your senses. What am I smelling? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? Some folks that I work with that have a lot of anxiety and trauma, that's a good one to bring them into the present moment. What do you see? What do you smell? What can you touch? It brings you back into the embodied present. So that's a good one. Savor, be present, use your senses. That's part B as well. I love this quote from the Dalai Lama about, he says, the purpose of life is not to transcend the body, but to embody the transcendent. This is the goal of rituals. And rituals is such a piece of what I teach in healing from trauma and loss, that the definition of ritual is an embodied meaning-making practice. And so I invite you to things that involve your body, whether it's creating something, burning something, burying something, planting something. Invite yourself to do some rituals. Maybe you're going through a hard season and planting a tree or burning some old letters. Using ritual of some kind is very powerful and very meaningful. One of my friends loves to go to Sanibel Island, of course, before the last hurricane where it was devastated. And she said, oh, we go out to see the sunset every night. So beautiful. It's our ritual. And when she was leaving, she said, well, I guess they have sunsets back in North Carolina too. They're my friends from North Carolina when I lived here. But it's when we're in our everyday, we forget these glorious rituals of the earth, the rising of the sun and the going down of the same. So tending to, as I put here, paying attention to the Creator, seeing with new eyes, hearing with new ears. So here's some practical ways. These are my favorite. And okay, so I can feel the energy in the room. So I want you to stand up. Y'all are getting low energy on me. I can feel the glaze of the eyes. Okay, I'm like, whoa. Okay. So I don't know if you need to be like a football player. Okay, that's pretty active. Or you want to do it a little slower with your pace. But do something to kind of shake up, shake out your arms. You can hop, you can run in place. Whatever feels good, do a little trunk stretch. Whatever feels good to you. You know what you need to do to kind of wake up a little. And give your body some love. Y'all may think this is crazy. I love to give myself hugs. Embrace yourself. You are loved, beloved ones. All right. How are you feeling? Better? Are you sure? Yeah. Come on. All right. When you feel like you're maybe a little more awake, you can sit down. So if you need to stay standing, that's fine. Okay. So I've already talked about mindful eating and drinking. Another fantastic. Okay. So embody. Okay. I'm going to take this out because I need to get among you. Okay, mindful walking. And let me just say, so much, again, around our bodies is full of shame because we're supposed to be a certain size, look a certain way, and part of that is a spiritual practice of surrender and emptying, which, let me tell you, every spiritual directee I have brings this up at some point. That there's so much shame around body, fitness, exhaustion. So I think it's really important, even if you have a practice of exercise, or if you don't, try mindful walking. Okay? Guess what mindful walking does not include? Wearing earbuds. Okay, you got to get the devices out of your clothes or from your ears. Okay, and I know this is hard, and my husband has ADHD and sleeps with the thing in his ear. with noise on it in the night. So, do what you can at your level. But if we take every sound off, and when we walk, preferably outside. So in Texas, this is like the best time to walk. But I know in people in the Northeast, this is not. So modulate. But when we mindfully walk, I just love to pick a time that is most soulful for me. Twilight is my favorite time of day. It's a thin place. What is your thin place in your day? That's a great time to do mindful walking. For some of you, it may be really early in the morning. By the way, my voice is tired from singing, so I apologize. It was fantastic, though. Oh, my gosh. So when I walk about this pace, okay? So we're not trying to lose weight, so we set that aside. So we're like, this is not for losing weight, although it probably is great for your exercise, but not for losing weight. And I go about this pace. And I literally, you want to feel from the ball of your foot to end. You feel planted. You feel the centering. I sort of imagine it as I'm looking, so I'm going to kind of walk you through, because typically there's some trees around, right? All right, so you're looking at trees, and I imagine myself being a strong, centered tree, rooted into the ground. And I hear a bird, and I'm mindful. Oh my gosh, that is such beautiful music. And I'm still feeling my feet, and I'm looking at what's around. Of course, I know that you need to be mindful, not tripping and all that. So there's multiple things to remember, but once you can kind of get in a rhythm of that pace, there's something magical that happens. So I'm a big proponent of walking. But y'all, even if you don't have an intentional 30 minutes, I have 2 little kids. My mindful walking is to the mailbox and back. And that is good enough. We're not talking like carving out these magical 30, 45-minute meditations. This is like 3 to 5 minutes to the mailbox. Develops attunement. So, and when we walk in general, it's really good to be mindful as well and thankful that our body can function. I love taking my shoes off. I don't know how you feel about that, particularly in the ground, but it's another way to feel really centered and connected. Love that. Okay, brushing teeth, washing face, whatever rituals you do. I assume that you brush your teeth. But whatever one you do that you twice a day. Okay, we got one twice a day. Okay. Okay. Very hygiene conscious. That's good. But my favorite one to do is I wash my face, and it is my favorite because I do it in the morning and at night, and I therefore can remember. And as I splash water on my face, I say, remember who you are. And then I put soap, and I do the soap part. And then I use water to rinse it off, and I say, remember whose you are. And it's like a little baptism every day. I'm remembering my baptism every day. And it is powerful, the way we talk to ourselves. Why not? We're going to be doing this practice. So whatever, if you do take pills, I say, whatever is something that might be a good time, make a little prayer, a ritual out of it. Remember, embodied meaning making. Showering. Water is so powerful. Make it meaningful. Make it a ritual by imbuing it with embodied presence. In fact, having an 11-year-old girl is helpful because I'm teaching her how to wash dishes. And because I don't love them, okay, it's not my favorite spiritual practice. And I'll wash she was like, Mom. So she gets the soap, and she's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you use so much soap. And she's got bubbles. But y'all, then she looked and she goes, Mommy, there's diamonds in there. I was like, oh, that's great. I wish I could see those diamonds when I'm washing my dishes. So, but it's become a fabulous tradition of bubbles and anything that we can do that create. I don't know if you have a prism or you have bubbles, anything that you can do to create that sense of diamonds and light is a really beautiful thing. And you see it at our house. We have a prism, and so at a certain time of day, every day, she'll say, Mommy, the rainbow's here. It's great. Folding laundry. Oh, I've got some great laundry poems. If you want to Google laundry poems, they're beautiful. I presume these are some of your everyday tasks. I don't know what yours are, but you're getting the point that these are things we do every day, and why not do it with intentionality, mindfulness, and prayer? In fact, one that I didn't say just now was emptying the dishwasher. Doug, you do not know this. But, so I got married while I was at Wilshire. So I had to invite, 1,000 people to the wedding. No, not that many came. I got married in Waco, so fewer people came instead of in Dallas. Well, anyway, I got a lot of beloved silverware. The whole set was completed. And it was nice silverware. And there's something about emptying the dishwasher, and every day there's 2 sizes of forks, 2 sizes of spoons. And it is this prayer of gratitude. Every day I remember the Wilshire folks that literally stocked my kitchen. And it is so powerful. And I'm a J on the Myers-Briggs, so I love things being organized. And so there's something and we do so much that isn't complete in ministry, right? There's always more need. There's always more tasks. And so it's so nice to do something that has completion, and touching the forks are my favorite. I'm like, oh, I love you, forks. I don't know. So get in touch with your silverware. Okay? And if you don't think that's strange enough, I'm now teaching you the bathroom prayer. Okay, so this is, in Jewish tradition, there's a prayer called the Asher Yatzar. Does anybody know it? Okay, the Asher Yatzar. If you want, this is transliterated, but this Asher is how it sounds. Yatzar is Y-A-T-Z-A-R, which roughly translates who formed. And this is so beautiful, people. I wish we kept this tradition, but that's why I teach it every retreat I go to. And it's usually done after or upon exiting the restroom. We're thanking God for all the openings. The openings, say it with me. Yes, so here it goes. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who formed man with wisdom and created within him many openings and many hollow spaces. Lovely. It is obvious and known before your seat of honor that if even one of them would be opened, or if even one of them would be sealed, it would be impossible to survive and stand before you even 1 hour. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh and acts wondrously. That's the full Asher Yatzar. Isn't that beautiful? Even if one opening. Y'all, you got to feel me on this. Y'all are like, am I supposed to be? No. Okay.
We all got repressed right there.
I thought, yes, I felt the repression.
I'm going to speak for my brothers and sisters.
Okay.
A lot of repression.
Repression. Okay. So I'm here to unrepress you. That'll be my new tagline. I like that. Yes, y'all, our bodies are fearfully and wondrously made. Amen?
Amen.
And we live in them, we do all this stuff with them, and then we live right here. So we've got to work to, when I go to I don't do this well, okay? I do the forks really well, and I wash my face well. I forget to thank God after I go to the bathroom most of the time. I will confess. All right? And don't make me stand here alone. You do it too. There's some times when you are so glad. And we should be saying this prayer. So write it down. They have it cross-stitched on certain things. I've seen it on the webs. So it's a blessing of thanksgiving for the workings of the human body. So that is a good one. I'm working on that one.
This YouTube channel video is going to go to the top.
Yeah, Asher Yatzer, baby. Okay, as usual, I have like 8 minutes, right? Is that right? Right. Okay, so the second handout, I haven't even gotten to all the body prayers, but I made my top 10, big David Letterman fan back in the day. This is my top 10 lesser known spiritual practices that are embodied. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them since we're running out of time. I talked about bubbles. Number 2, how many take baths anymore? Yeah. Okay. Taking a bath is another, we do this to our kids or maybe your nieces and nephews or grandkids, and we forget the playfulness. So I'm inviting you to play. Play with your body. Are we repressed still? God. Okay. I'm serious. Silence in the room. It's true. Take a bath or shower, whatever. But touch, feel, it is good. All right. Number 3, I just talked to Rusty about this. Sleep hygiene is central to your spiritual practice. I had a man that slept through every sermon of mine, I think. And I said, that was probably the best sleep that you needed. And it is deeply spiritual. We've got to sleep and teach people to sleep and not compete with one another in how little sleep we get. And value rest. Guess what? I got 9 hours of sleep. Why do we value overwork? Becoming cogs in a machine is what we've been reduced to.
Grind culture.
Yeah, exactly. So I really encourage, all of these are about slowing down, if you didn't notice. And sleep is the biggest one to embody all that. I actually have a 2-year degree certification in dream work and the power of dreams. And you know what? You can't get that dream if you don't go into deep sleep. It's really important. All right. Number 5, set aside some time to relax and snuggle up next to a pet or other loved ones. The oxytocin, y'all probably know that's released. It's so powerful. I keep telling people to get at least 8 hugs a day. I know when I've seen some of you, I'm like, is it okay if I give you a hug? I'm trying to get my 8 hugs a day. It's true, but mindfully snuggle. Mindfully see what's happening. Your body is probably softening. So, when you did that body scan, humming, when y'all were just singing, and I was trying, we're softening. We're softening. Because we tense up through most of what we do. Hammock time. I have a huge transformative story. I was in Hendersonville, North Carolina. I just moved from Dallas, big urban city, obviously. And there's a hammock in the house we rented, and I was in the hammock and looking up, and it's a very wonderful posture because you're in a suspended, held. So if you don't have a hammock, please buy a hammock. You can even get them now where you can tie them to 2 trees, or you can use them in your own home. Whenever I talk to people, I'm like, my first prescription is buying a hammock. There's something about being held and suspended. So I am suspended in this hammock, and I'm not kidding you, except if you're in Western North Carolina, you'll know this, it's a giveaway. But a white squirrel came down. Well, I didn't know there was a white squirrel, so I thought it was a divine visitation. I made total meaning out of this white squirrel. I'm like, this is a sign. But anyway, it became this huge spiritual place for me. It was coming to this hammock, and the white squirrel would come. And it became this beautiful unfolding. And it would build a nest. It was building a nest above me. So pay attention, someone said this, to the creatures. The birds of the air, the lilies of the field. We got to slow down. And then creating, we are co-creators. Get outside of that part of your brain that's very analytical and move into that creative place, whatever it is. Maybe it's cooking for you. Again, if you do it, don't do it for a purpose per se, if that brings anxiety, but create. Whether it's with chalk, paint, dance, singing. Oh, yes, but you do it for a living. And so how often do you get to just relish in it? Do that. Relish. Okay, I need to wind up here. On the back, we're going to end. This is a breath prayer. And by the way, if you go to the link from earlier session, there's a link for the body prayers I've done and one that I didn't do. So those resources are there digitally. But this one I wanted to print for you. It's from Upper Room's resources from the Breath of Life. And I want us to do this right now. I want you to sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes if that feels good to you. Before you close your eyes, you can look at the handout. That's okay, because I just told you to turn it over. Reminding yourself that the divine loves you and that you are in the loving presence. Perhaps recall a scripture that puts you in a prayerful frame of mind. There's a couple there. And in a minute, when we close our eyes, I want you to imagine that God is calling you by name. And I want you to hear God calling you by name, your name, and asking you, what do you want? What do you want? And answer God with whatever comes directly from your heart. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's freedom. Give a minute to think about that. This will become the heart of your prayer. So what we'll do is you'll choose that favorite name or image for God that you have. Maybe it's light. My favorite name for God is love. Maybe it's shepherd. And then I want you to combine that name for God with the answer to God's question, what do you want? And as you see some examples there, let me know your peace, oh God, that's what you want. Or Jesus, let me feel your love. I want you to try to get around 6 to 8 syllables. Because you're going to inhale it in. Here's with this first example. Let me know your love, peace. Oh God, exhale. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking. Let you think. And now with the prayer that we have created, we're just going to hold silence for about 60 seconds, praying in and out with your prayer. Amen.